Welcome to the Real Change Podcast, brought to you by the Boys and Girls Clubs, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Edmonton and area, otherwise known as BGCBigs. I'm your host, Harper. BGCBigs is a community-supported organization committed to the healthy development of young people just like me. This is the Real Change Podcast. Real kids, real mentors, real impact, real change. Welcome back to the Real Change Podcast. It's me, Harper, everyone's favorite host. In this episode, we'll be learning all about BGCBigs tutoring program and how someone like you can be a volunteer today. I'm chatting with Daniel Edwards, BGCBigs Educational Supports Manager, Shanna Liu, Tutoring Coordinator, and Sabreen Berih, a part-time tutor. Welcome to the show, Daniel, Shanna, and Sabreen.
Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. We'll start with the easy questions first. Daniel, tell us about the BGCBigs tutoring program and how it works.
Absolutely. So the BGCBigs tutoring program, we've been around for just about 2.5 years, I think. So there's a couple different areas of tutoring. So we have our lovely, our staff tutoring. That happens at about 5 different club sites around the city of Edmonton. But we also have volunteer tutoring as well. That also happens at about four other sites across the city of Edmonton. So what we do is we pair children and youth with a volunteer or staff tutor, and they meet for about 1 hour a week, sometimes 2 times a week, and they work on academics.
That's a lot of places. That's a lot of places. Around how many people volunteer at all those places?
I think we have around, give or take, about 20 volunteer matches going on.
So like 5 per area?
Around there, yeah. Around there.
That's a lot of people. That sounds like it helps a lot of young students. One of the coolest things about BGCBigs tutoring program is that it's free for kids who need the extra help. And after doing this podcast for a while now, I know one reason that's possible is because people who volunteer to be tutors. Shanna, as the tutoring coordinator, can you tell us what qualities make someone a great volunteer today?
For sure. So our volunteer tutors are really compassionate. They love helping kids with their academics, as well as, they check in on how their day is going, how school is going. They're really enthusiastic about learning, so they make the learning fun through different things like we play educational games, we read lots of different stories, and we have a variety of materials for them to use. And they're also people who they motivate the students, and they also challenge them to do a little bit better every single time they meet than the week they did before.
So volunteer tutors don't have to be teachers. Can anyone tutor?
Yes, yeah. I have tutors who do all different things. I have tutors who are, they want to become teachers. I have tutors who are high school students that just love school and want to help out younger students. And yeah, I have tutors who work in lots of different areas.
So you don't have to take like any special courses to learn how to tutor, do you?
No, nothing special.
That's pretty cool. I'd love to not have to take classes. What you're saying is you go there a couple times a week, like Daniel said, and you just tutor them for an hour or so?
Yeah.
And help them with their subjects?
Yes. So with our tutors, usually our tutors, they want to tutor either a specific subject or like a range of grades. So I have, for example, one of my tutors, she is in school. She wants to be a biologist in the future. So she loves to tutor science. So anything, chemistry, physics, biology. So I have her matched with students who need help in science. And I have other tutors who they're here, they want to tutor everything in, let's say, grades 4 to 6, because that's where they feel most comfortable. And so they'll do a little bit of math, they'll do a little bit of language arts. It really depends on what they know and what they feel comfortable tutoring.
That's pretty cool. So how many times can you go there per week? Can you go like any time a day?
So all of our kids, they have a time that they meet with their tutor, and in that time they meet on the same day, at the same time. And most of our kids come once a week, but if a kiddo needs extra help, they can come twice a week as well.
That's pretty cool. I know my listeners will be wondering, so I have to ask, what is the time commitment for being a volunteer tutor?
So our volunteer tutors, they volunteer with us for a minimum of up to 1 hour once a week.
It's a long time. An hour. Can you volunteer more time?
100%, yes. I have a few different tutors who actually volunteer for more than 1 hour. So they'll meet with one student, and then right after their hour's over, they'll meet with another student. So I have some volunteers who are doing 2 hours.
It's a long time to be there just for tutoring.
Just for tutoring.
Is it optional to tutor, or do you have to be I'm not sure how to word this, but someone's not forcing you to. You're just doing it because you want to.
Yes.
It's pretty kind.
It's very kind.
Daniel, you're the Educational Supports Manager, so I'm going to give you the hard job. Look into your camera right there and tell the listeners why they should be volunteers to be a tutor with BGCBigs.
I think you should be a tutor. Number one, because it's fun. Like Shanna had said earlier, it's not like sitting in a classroom, although all of our tutoring spaces are kind of set up to look very similar to a classroom. But like Shanna said, we're not just sitting down and reading through a textbook and doing worksheets. We are playing games, we're having fun, we're making models, we're making projects. So it's very, very engaging, but at the same time, you're also increasing your academic confidence. So if anyone is on the fence about volunteering to be a tutor, I would say just give it a try. And I am 99.9% certain that after the first session of tutoring, you're gonna fall in love with it, and you're gonna want to take on more kiddos. You're gonna want to come to our clubs and our academic spaces. Number one, because it's fun, but number two, because it's great to see someone progress in their academics. And I think, having that little bit of fun while we're also learning really, really kind of cements the fact that, academics can be fun and beneficial at the same time.
That was pretty good, Daniel.
Thank you.
There's your reasons, people. You must become a tutor today. So, Sabreen, I read in your backstory that you try to understand each student's unique learning style. Why do you think it's so important to know someone's unique learning style?
I think it's important because no one learns the same. You could have two students that are in the same grade, but one is a very visual learner and maybe the other one's just a listener, and kind of recognizing that is important because you want to kind of build that relationship to move forward and find a way to help the person as best you can.
I mean, you have to, and it is important to know because then they're just not going to learn.
Exactly.
I'm also a visual learner.
Me too.
It's easier. It just feels easier, which involves my next question. What would you say are each of your own unique learning styles?
I would say I'm also visual. If someone's just explaining things to me, it's not gonna click. It's gonna go right over my head. But if I see something or a picture or a demo, then I'll be able to kind of build my own understanding off of that.
Yeah. What about you, Shanna?
I think I'm a combo of visual as well as I love to almost pretend teach what I've learned to someone who maybe has never heard about it before, or even just write it out in a way that makes sense to me. And if I can explain it and it makes sense, then I've probably understood it. And if I can't, then most likely I'm just reading off my notes and I haven't understood anything yet.
It's a pretty smart technique. What about you, Edward?
I'm very much a reader. So I can read a textbook, or I can read a activity sheet or an info sheet, and I can get a pretty good sense of what I'm trying to comprehend. It helps me after I read it if I write it out again. So I read it and then write my notes on it, and then somehow that just sticks in my brain.
It's almost like you have photographic memory.
Oh, I wish I did. I certainly wish I did.
Me too. So like, you read it, you write down what you know, and then do you read it again and then be like, oh, I missed this, and go back.
Sometimes,
and try to redo it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you're studying for an exam, sometimes I'll read my textbook again, read my other notes, and then sometimes, if it's still not clear, I'll write it again just to cement it in my brain.
That's also a pretty cool thing, but we're both visuals. I need a visual. Like, I'll use your technique, try and explain it to someone, but then I'll write it down into like a picture or something and then show someone and see if they understand.
I love that. Taking something from like a text and then you're drawing a picture or a diagram of it.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's something that's really, really great and kind of unique about our tutoring program is that it's okay if we don't get it right on the first session or the first week or the second week. We're really, really finding what works best for you. And I think I'm going to take that. I'm going to take your advice there, and I'm going to try and implement that, or maybe Shanna can take it and implement it into the tutoring sessions. I think that's great.
Sabreen, you've been a part-time tutor at BGCBigs Macaulay Club for a year.
365 days, yes.
If you were my tutor, what would a physical tutoring session look like?
So I usually start a session by just asking how they are, because we see each other every week for however long. So I ask them a rundown. What did you do in school today? Something interesting you learned, something fun that happened during the week. And then I try and recap what we did last session. So I'm like, do you remember what we did? Most of the time it's a no, but if it is a yes, then it'll be like, what did we do? And then, for example, you can be like, oh, we started adding fractions last session. And then I get them to break it down, be like, what do you remember? What do you want to work on still? And then we just start the session again.
So it's like a recap.
A recap, yes. You're wrapped for the week.
Spotify.
Very timely.
Yes.
Daniel and Shanna, you both have teaching experience, and Sabreen, you seem so passionate about helping kids learn. Why do you think you're also passionate about education? Shanna, you go first.
I'm really passionate about education because it's really helped me become the person that I am. I've learned so much from my all the different teachers I've had throughout my life. So I moved to Canada when I was in grade 2, and I really didn't know anything about, I couldn't speak the language, I didn't know the culture, and I didn't understand really how the world worked around me. And I had all these such amazing and supportive educators and, the whole school community, the education community around me, who then slowly built me up and, allowed me to really flourish into who I am today and to discover, my interests. And of course, now, having been a teacher myself, I love, and now as a tutoring coordinator as well, I love being able to give that back to our next generation of students and just seeing them also grow, even in one session, from the start of their session to the end, just seeing how they can go from not really understanding what to do or being frustrated to really seeing them grow and develop.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's like you're giving back what you received. It's pretty nice of you. So cute. What about you, Sabreen?
I just am really I love learning, and I think life is a lifelong journey of learning. So kind of helping kids recognize that you're always gonna be learning, you're gonna learn new things, you're gonna learn from your experiences, you're gonna learn, you're always learning, and it's really fun to make that fun and not textbook worksheet answer kind of situation.
So you're trying to make it a better experience.
Yes, exactly.
Than, again, sitting in a classroom, textbook, worksheet, answer.
Exactly.
Again. What about you, Daniel?
Oh, gosh. Mine's very similar to Shanna. I grew up in a small town, And a lot of my mentors and a lot of the people I looked up to, apart from my family and friends, were my teachers. And, you know, from those figures being role models to me, I had a really great time in school. They made it fun for me. And that was something when I was in high school, I, you know, made a conscious effort to say, I want to do that. So that's exactly what I did. And I loved being in a classroom. I loved teaching. I taught elementary, so anywhere from kindergarten upwards to grade 6. That was amazing. And now I'm really, really blessed that I can kind of pare it down a little bit. So instead of a classroom of upwards of 30 kiddos, we can meet 1-to-1 or 1-to-3. And we can be even more intentional and also have a little bit more fun. We can play a little bit more games. We have a little bit more, I guess maybe less structure around that.
Those are all great reasons. It kind of reminds me or falls into place with the different learning techniques. As you said, like, instead of being in a classroom with 30 kids, you got to know each individual's different learning styles. Because if you have a classroom with 30 kids and only 2 kids are visuals and the rest are just listeners, what are you going to do? So I think it makes a lot of sense. Sabreen, I read in your backstory about a young student who came up to you with trouble reading and how you were able to help them get to the place where they could eventually read a book to you, cover to cover.
Yes.
As a tutor, what were some of the things you did to help that student improve so much?
So I really started with the basics, just like recognizing letters, like going through like A through Z and like what letter is this and not getting confused between B and D and and just like really knowing the basics, and then like sounding out words would be the next step, like seeing the word the and then reading THE and then knowing the TH sounds and be like the. And then it's just like after that, like slowly like build their confidence up to like reading the full word and reading the sentence after, and then getting to a page, and then just like continuing it until you read cover to cover.
Maybe you could teach my brother how to read. Shanna, you're trying to overcome your fear of heights by doing one thing per year that forces you to face your fear. Like this year, you crossed the Sky Bridge in Golden, BC. What was that experience like, and why is it so important to challenge your fears?
That experience was a huge step for me, actually. So I've had a fear of heights for a really long time, and it's prevented me from, doing a lot of like exciting things, especially when I was younger. So I started building up that confidence by first just hiking mountains around, because, I'm still on solid ground, and I knew that, as long as I don't go over the edge, I'll be completely fine. And this past summer when I was in Golden, I told myself that I'm going to cross the bridge today. And I paid them the $50 or whatever so I could cross the bridge. And I got to, it was a one-way bridge. And I got to right about, I want to say, a quarter way in, and it started to sway a little bit. And I completely froze. I completely froze because I wanted to go back, and I knew that it was a one-way bridge, so I kind of panicked. And I looked behind, and I see the worker, the employee who was there, and she saw me clearly panicking. And she was like, no, it's okay. Like, you can come back. So I come back, and I'm back on the platform, and I calm down. And I see all these other people, especially little kids, who are just running across the bridge. They're having a great time. And I told myself, you know what? Like, we're here. We're going to try again. And this time, I'm just going to keep my eyes on the end, and I'm going to go straight across. And that's exactly what I did. I will say, I did not enjoy the view of the valley. The sky was looking beautiful. The end of where the trees were looking beautiful. But when I made it across, I was really proud of myself, because for a second when I returned, I debated, like, I could just, go back and not ever cross the bridge again. So yeah, and I think that's going to help me in the future to, who knows, like maybe I'll be able to explore places I couldn't before because of my fears. So yeah.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
It's really impressive. So you crossed is it like a really high, is it like a tightrope kind of bridge?
Yeah,
thing?
so it's a suspension bridge, which means that it's on ropes and it has wooden planks all across. And once you, like, the more towards the middle you go, the shakier it gets, right? Because it's just held by, I guess they're more like wires, not like ropes, but still it sways. And it's a really, really, really deep valley with like a river in the middle. Beautiful. When I looked at it on the sides, I did not see it in the middle. But that's why when I first made it just a quarter way in and it shook a little bit, that's what made me freeze. Because I felt like I was just dangling up in the air with nothing underneath my feet. So, yeah.
I don't even have the fear of heights, and I still wouldn't do that. So I'm really proud of you for trying that.
Thank you.
I'm sweaty.
Yeah.
Swaying
I'm really
bridges.
sweaty.
Yes. If you ever want to try, I made it, so you guys can make it too.
It's like I'll have to try. Daniel, I have another hard-hitting question for you.
Lay it on me.
Do you really think Tiger Woods is the GOAT, even better than, say, Phil Mickelson?
Absolutely.
That wasn't really my question,
Absolutely.
but I wanted to ask about your goal to make 3 people laugh or smile every day. Why is it so important to you?
I think that's important to me. Number one, I have a 6-year-old son at home, and he is just inherently funny, so he makes me laugh all the time. And whenever I laugh, it makes me feel really, really great inside. And I think that's an easy way to bond with people is to share a laugh together. It makes everybody feel happy. And then the next time you meet that person, you have something to bond over. You have something to reminisce over, or tell the same joke over and over again like I do. And then I can realize how often I've told the same joke when the laugh kind of starts to diminish a little bit. We have a room at our office where myself and Shanna and Sabreen often work out of. And I can tell when I've said something too often. I have a short memory, apparently. Something that has once delivered a laugh before just gets like a little snicker here and there, and then that's my cue to switch up my jokes and look for something new.
So you're paying it forwards, but you're also trying to... Does it make you feel better in any way?
Absolutely.
So you're paying it forwards and making it a better day for everyone around you.
Including myself. Absolutely.
I love laughing too.
I think everybody does.
I hope so. Laughing's amazing. But it's time for some fun. We're going to play a game that Shanna sent me. It's a cool educational activity, and a tutor could play with students during a tutoring session. It's called Common Quality. This is how it works. I'll name an object and a quality or characteristic about that object. The next player must name a different object that has the same quality as the one I said, plus a new quality that the object has. For example, if I say fire is hot, Daniel could say peppers are also hot, but they're also red. And Sabreen could say strawberries are also red, and they're sweet. Shanna could say pineapples are also sweet, and they're yellow. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We'll play 2 rounds. I'll start. Bulldogs are cute.
I also have a bulldog at my house. Her name is Daisy. She is incredibly cute. She is also incredibly stinky as well. She farts and burps all the time. All the time. I love her to death, but yeah, she is stinky.
Okay. Skunks are also stinky, and they're also fluffy.
That's a good one. Skunks are fluffy. And say they're also striped.
That went around pretty well. All right. Daniel, you can start this round.
Okay. I'm looking at this fantastic carpet underneath us, and it is fiery red.
Ooh, fiery red. Dragon fruits are also fiery red. They're also sweet.
Dragon fruits are sweet, and they're also seeded.
Strawberries are seeded and they're also red.
Look at
Full
us.
circle.
Full circle.
Full
Full
circle.
circle.
Wow.
Beautiful. That was fun. That brings me to my final question. What do you guys know? Do you guys know what it is? Do you? My signature question. I ask all my guests this. Ready? If you could pick a superpower, what would you choose?
For me, I would, especially because, like Daniel mentioned earlier, we have a lot of sites around the city, and I go to all of them. All throughout the week, I'm there. And I would love to, I don't know if you've ever seen Doctor Strange, but he has this ring that just opens up a portal. So I wish I could just make myself portals to anywhere around the world, and I could just step through and be exactly where I want to be and spend absolutely no time traveling. That would be the superpower I want.
So like teleportation, but you
Yes.
go through a magical circle door thing.
Yes.
That's cool. I've never seen Doctor Strange, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be telekinesis, like moving things with my mind. Just seems really cool, really convenient.
If you had the power of telekinesis, what would be the first thing you would move?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like maybe like under the couch to just pick up things that I've lost and I've never had the chance to get again.
What about you, Daniel?
Oh gosh, that is a tough one. I think the superpower that I would like. I've also been watching a lot of Marvel movies recently, and I just think like Wolverine's like his metal bones. That is so cool, and he regenerates himself. I'm getting to the age now where if I get out of bed wrong, like my knees hurt or my back hurts, and I would just love to be like, oh, my back hurts, and then just like, and I'm good. I'm like, I'm 20 years old again. That's what I want. I want regenerative powers.
I've never heard that before.
It's coming
Ever,
for
but-
all of us. Old age, it comes for all of us.
That'd be cool because I, myself, has a very bad back. Hurts so bad. So if you could just have the power, what would be the first thing you would fix if you had that power?
Yeah, my knees. As a tall gentleman who played a lot of hockey back in the day, my knees sometimes sound like styrofoam when I stand up. That would be the one I would fix.
Do you
in a
have
heartbeat.
bad knees?
I got bad knees.
Grandpa knees?
I got real bad knees.
No,
Real bad.
that's not good. Daniel, Shanna, and Sabreen, thank you so much for joining me on the Real Change podcast. It's been great learning about different styles of learning and tutoring. And to my listeners, if you have a passion for teaching or just want to help young people learn, volunteer to be a tutor with BGCBigs. Visit bgcbigs.ca. Volunteer today and apply today. Also, this marks episode 11 of our 12-episode series. So stay tuned to the channel and don't miss the final episode of the Real Change podcast coming soon. Real kids, real mentors, real impact, real change.